I am also switching on to Facebook Live. Just give me a second.
So Nimit, I have spotlighted you and you can unmute yourself and let's begin this contest.
Hello, everyone. I welcome you all to a very, very special day in the history of Turning Point Toastmasters. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters, contest officials, brave contestants, and audience members. I am Nimit Mittal, Sergeant at Arms and Tech Master for today. I welcome you all today at a very special event by Turning Point Toastmasters, a unique speech contest for our esteemed guest, What's Your Story? The mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Before we move on, it is very important that we converse ourselves about the ground rules for today. First and foremost, please ensure that all your cell phones or other devices are on silent or switched off mode. You have 10 seconds to recheck it. Then next, uh, we all must ensure that we speak responsibly about religion, sex, or politics in our speeches. Next, we should use the feature of raising our hand, applause, and thumbs up, etc., wherever possible for showing appreciation to the speaker. Yeah, you have these virtual reactions, like Anand is also displaying. Yes, like this. We have virtual reaction buttons here. Otherwise, uh, we can also show it uh, without video on. Then the Zoom room is closed for public chat. So that is already done now. In case there is any concern, kindly write to me or the chief judge, that is DTM Anant Katyayani, in the private chat or raise your hand virtually. You can raise your hand by, there's a raise of hand option on the right hand side, so you can raise your hand from there. Until not required, individual audios shall be kept on mute during the contest before spotlighting you to speak. So you don't have to start with a cliche like, am I audible? Am I visible? Right? So that will be taken care by the tech master. And without much ado, so let us now invite someone who is going to conduct this contest, are the master of ceremony. Today's contest will be conducted by a very charming personality. Though quite a young addition to Embark Toastmasters at Mackenzie, her learning curve has been very steep and impressive. Let us put our hands together for the very vivacious contest master of the day, Toastmaster Urfia Abdul.
There you go. Thank you, Toastmaster Nimit. Good afternoon, fellow members, leaders, and dear guests. I, Urfi Abdul, your contest Toastmaster, welcome you all to this unique speech contest. What's your story? I would like to begin by sharing the purpose of this contest. Turning Point Toastmasters presents this exclusive opportunity to experience what it takes to be a public speaker and leader. That is, skills such as thinking, speech writing, organizing, rehearsing, mentoring, and performing in front of an audience. You grow even faster when you learn by doing it yourself competitively and by watching other competitors perform as well. In order to compete in this contest, a contestant must have never been a member of any club at Toastmasters International at present or in past, and must be 18 years or above as of today. It is my duty to apprise you all about the rules and regulations which must be strictly observed to ensure that we conduct a fair contest. For this contest, all contestants may remain in the same Zoom room. Audio video check to be conducted during 1 minute of silence. Each contestant will be introduced by announcing the contestant's name, speech title, and contestant's name. So for example, if the contestant's name is Abhishek Sharma and the speech title is Life is Great, I will announce it as Abhishek Sharma, Life is Great. Life is Great, Abhishek Sharma. And upon being introduced, the contestant shall proceed immediately. Timings will begin with the contestant's first definite verbal or non-verbal communication with the audience. This usually will be the first word uttered by the contestant, but would include any other communication such as sound effects, a staged act, etc. Speeches shall be from 4 to 6 minutes long. A contestant who speaks for less than 3 minutes, 30 seconds, or more than 6 minutes, 30 seconds will be disqualified. Timer, please pay attention to this. The green card will be shown at 4 minutes and will remain up for 5 seconds. Then the yellow card will be shown at 5 minutes and it will remain up for 5 seconds. Then the red card will be displayed at 6 minutes and remain up until the speech is concluded. The speaker has a grace period of 30 seconds on both sides, beyond the time of 4 to 6 minutes. No signal shall be given for the overtime period. In case of a timing signal failure, 30 seconds may be considered subjected to chief judge allowing it. There will be 1 minute of silence between contestants, during which the judges will mark their ballots. This minute will also act as a window for the sergeant-at-arms to place the requested props, if any. There will be 2 minutes of silence after the last contestant. For the stage area, please be advised to maintain a well-lit and non-distracting background. If possible, keep the camera angle at an eye level and try capturing your hand gestures within it. There is no additional marks for either sitting or standing delivery. No protest can be made over originality and language used, either by a judge, contestant, or any audience member. However, judges may feel free to mark high or low in respective parameters. Chief Judge's decision shall be final and all abiding. I will now announce the speaking order for the contestants. We have our contestant number 1 is Bhupesh Sharma. Contestant number 2 is Samriddhi Bansal. Contestant number 3 is Shanu Goyal. Contestant number 4 is Divya. Contestant number 5 is Avreen Kaur. Contestant number 6 is Fatima Khadar. Contestant number 7, Vinay Mantri. Contestant number 8, Rajesh Pagal. Contestant number 9, Preet. Contestant number 10, Arinjay Raj. Contestant number 11, Prerna Rao. Contestant number 12, Diksha Sachan. Contestant number 13, Shruti Shetty. This contest is being live streamed on Facebook account of Turning Point Toastmasters. We reserve no exclusive rights to this content, nor intend to make a monetary gain out of it. Turning Point Toastmasters will not entertain any requests to remove a content from their social media after the contest. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd also like to provide at this point a quick introduction of our esteemed judges panel. Our judge number 1, Venkata Ramana Dittakavi, a veteran servant leader in Toastmasters community of India, a retired senior leader with India Post, recipient of the Presidential Citation by Toastmasters International and immediate past district director of District 98. Our judge number 2, Mukta Natkar, a master trainer for decades in hospitality industry, an accomplished globetrotter, and the immediate past program quality director of District 98. She achieved her not first, not second, but 4th Distinguished Toastmasters title this month. Our judge number 3, Padma Kumar Anant Krishnan, a distinguished Toastmaster, a seasoned corporate trainer, and a storyteller par excellence, author of a bestseller, Storyize Your Message. Judge number 4, Animesh Mohapatra, a distinguished Toastmaster again, a canine lover, and a legend from Hitachi Toastmasters in Hyderabad. This young and dynamic division director is a success story and a living proof how Toastmasters nurtures leadership. Judge 5, Siddharth Suman, part funny speaker, part hungry giant, part gentle and caring leader. That's how Siddharth Suman is known around Hyderabad. A champion cricketer and a visionary past division director. This poor guy is now waiting for lockdown to end so he can get married sooner. Judge number 6, Rohit. Guntur, a small town in Andhra, is known to supply the hottest chilies in India. And this spicy speaker and leader is just continuing that tradition. A much sought after educator for Toastmasters sessions these days, Rohit has reached multiple division and district contest finals himself in recent few years. Let us all give a virtual round of applause to welcome all our judges. Mr. Chief Judge, I confirm that all the contestants and Sergeant-at-Arms are briefed by the contest chair. Request you to kindly confirm whether the contest officials are briefed and are present in the room.
I confirm that all the judges, the ballot counters, and the timer has been briefed. Tech Master is Nimit. He has also been briefed. I have 2 requests to make. One is to the timer. Timer, I understand that when you try to share the screen, it takes 3 to 4 seconds in loading sometimes. So my request is you do screen share 3-4 seconds before the due time of the red, yellow, and green cards, so that exactly at the point when they are supposed to see, they can see that. And to Contest Master Rufia, my request is please use everyone's first name only while introducing them, since everyone has a unique name among the participants. We are all good to go. Time is 1:24, within 1 minute. After the cursory audio video check by Tech Master, we are good to begin with our first contestants 5 minutes early.
Thank
Tech
you.
Master, let's have a audio video check for the speaker number 1.
So let us now begin this speech contest. What's your story? Let us do the audio video check first.
So Bhupesh, it's an audio video check for speaker number 1.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Am I
And
visible?
yes, you are visible too. So I confirm the audio visual check confirmed for speaker number 1. Over
Thank
to
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So our first contestant is Bhupesh Sharma. Trust yourself, not your train. Trust yourself, not your train. Bhupesh Sharma.
Hello friends. It was the day of 30th December 2011 when I was serving in Indian Navy and was posted at Delhi. On that day, I was traveling from Delhi to Visakhapatnam by train with two of my course mates. During the journey, around 5 p.m., the train stopped at Bina Junction. And the same time, I received a call from my home. I got down and just walking at platform while talking. After hanging up, as I turned back, I felt as if I had done suicide. There were a lot of expression coming and going on my face. Shock, shattering, shivering, thrill, and 100 more were looming around my head. But one lasted more was horror. I shouted, "Where is my train?" My train had gone, and left were only blank railway tracks, purely resembled with my face. The people around me were just trying to understand my panic and consoling me. But I needed much more than that, because I was 1,400 kilometers away from my destination, without luggage, without ticket. So, first of all, I had to accept that this accident had happened with me. Then only I could think of rescuing. So, I just asked the local people whether I could catch my train by reaching nearby station, which was Bhopal. But the answer was negative. No transport was available at that time. So what next? I called up my course mate and gave him that breaking news. Bhai, I missed the train. He was shocked. Brother, how could you make it? How could you make it today? I assured him that we would do something. Friends, I have been a lover of self-help books, which more or less explain about positive thinking. So it was the great chance to do it practically. So I made a resolution. I will have today's dinner in train only. And then I started thinking all the possibility to catch the train. And yes, when you have a strong desire, the whole universe helps you. The things go in your favor, and I was no exception. In a few minutes, a train arrived at platform which was going to Bhopal. What a pleasant surprise. Now I could see clearly a ray of hope in that dark night. I just boarded train immediately. And this happiness lasted for a few minutes. As TT announced, "Gentlemen, both trains never arrive at platform at the same time. One will depart, then another will arrive." Oh shit again, a part of me said. But another part was quite confident that I would make it. I called my Navy mate and told him to receive me in Bhopal station and team up. After 2 hours, the train was about to reach at outer of Bhopal. Meanwhile, I came to know my already arrived in Bhopal station. So it was the time I had to apply the military trainings. I just jumped out of the train, that slow running train, and ran towards a road approaching Bhopal station. And wow, luckily I got a lift from a biker who was going that side. But on the other side, one of my course mates was requesting train guard to hold the departure for a few minutes for my sake. And the second one was stood by to pull the chain if the request was not granted. What a teammate. But I was on the brink of uncertainty and about to reach the station. As I had the first glance of the station, I jumped out of bike, too excited to wait for stopping the bike. Just a narrow escape for flying down. I rushed to the platform, whereas I saw my train was blowing the whistle and was about to reach the station. And then, after some time, I just had a 100-meter sprint and reached there. Oh wow, I got my train. I was in front of that. My colleagues were equally excited and full of satisfaction. And why not? We had the last laugh. And not to forget, dinner too. Thank you very much. Over to host.
Let's observe 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Meanwhile, the tech master may do the audio video check for contestant number 2.
I request Samriddhi Bansal, speaker number 2, to switch on their videos.
Yeah.
So this is an audio and video check for speaker number 2, Samriddhi Bansal.
Yeah. So I hope I'm audible and visible.
Yes, you are. Thank you. So, contest chair, I confirm the audio visual check for speaker number 2.
Let's welcome our contestant number 2, Samriddhi. What's in life for you? What's in life for you, Samriddhi?
So the very self of my existence questioned the capabilities I need to transcend. The world seemed to be a better place without an underachieving, spiritless bundle of nerves and muscles. But I wouldn't want to breathe my last just because I lost a piece of motivation and confidence while I found myself a piece of love. Love that held me together. Love that was always there when I had to vent about adolescence and adulting. Love that made me feel complete beyond who I was and what textbooks I read. The love I found in my friend. Let me tell you something about myself. I was an obedient prodigy who would be respected and would do what I was taught and rebel only and only if my morals would clash with the people who helped me develop them, my parents. Well, up until the age of 16, when all I did was excel and wouldn't try to move out of line and yet have an amazing social life, was a time I remember with a smile and I felt like the soul that was important, that was respected. But eventually, as I grew older, I started to draft my time in things that made me feel the warmth and peace that I always thought was impossible to feel outside family. I tried to rebel my own moral spirit, and I still felt complete, which gave me a reason to do it even more. But it goes without saying, everything in life is a bargain. You can't have it all, and neither could I. The love I found in my friend made me distant from the respect I deemed from my own blood. I still kept going, hoping I might have a firmer grip to have it all, but it all slipped away like sand. My respect, my love, my friends, and all I was left was with dust. Dust that did nothing to blur my vision and make me tear up. And why? Because I learned to trust people with whom I hadn't grown up with. It was weird, but it was all so beautiful. I saw a bond with my parents grow a little soft. I saw this because I thought I'm letting them down. I'm getting poor and I'm losing what I had, a thing to excel. I would say that every teenager would say, I'm a teenager and I can make my own choice. But I forgot to tell that little kid, sweetie, you're a kid and you don't know what's entirely right or what's entirely wrong. Well, I questioned, I contemplated. Is following what is told you always the right way? Is finding love and warmth in a friend wrong? Should one be a yes man or know the importance of standing against the tide? The answers that pile up were nothing but ambiguous. I tried to live in parallels, where I was trying to find the right way of living in both, and all I did was crush the expectations of everyone, and all it did was help me to live, but do everything but live life with life. So one night I had a fight with my parents, and it started with a very simple conversation, and every conversation in my home would be like that eventually. So I was like, Mom, I think I should do a course alongside my grade 12th. I think it will complement my course and help me get into IIMS. Because people there are very competent, everywhere. They come from everywhere. And I think this might give me an edge. To which Mom said, yeah, you should at least try completing what you got because all you got time for is your friends and nothing for your family and studies. And I was like, Mom, you shouldn't say that. I got extra classes and I need a break at times since I never get them because I never got tuitions in life. And then Mom said, yeah, excuses all the way, Smriti. And I don't think I should expect from you anymore because you don't deserve it. You just want to have your own life and do anything but think and do nothing about it. I was so broken when I heard this because I can't see people stop expecting from me. My motivation seems to go away and I feel helpless and I feel useless. I thought the person I look up to couldn't be proud of anymore. So what's the point? She still does expect the excellence from me, but that day, that thing just stuck in my head. And the thing about me is that I hate to fight. And that argument just tore me to shreds. Well, I told you I started to trust people. And I did trust my friend. And he came to talk to me about it. About how it's okay to have a fight or have an argument with people who brought you up. Because that is how you know that you're growing up. You have an opinion and you can have a choice. He made me understand that my mom said something because she cared about me like nobody else. And she just wanted me to tell me to focus on myself. My friend told me, Smriti, we expect the best of you. And I know you got potential and no one can take that away from you. He just hugged me and said it's okay. And trust me, it really felt okay. While I struggled from the battle of self-worth, I realized that self-worth doesn't come from the approval of others, but what you think of yourself and decide what you're worth of yourself. And that's how I try to win battles one after the other. It doesn't mean I'm not struggling anymore, but I'm not worried about doing the right thing anymore, but do what feels right. I still await and wish to get the respect I deserve. But I just got to start with the respect I need to give myself. And that's where I begin. Also, the title I began with, What's in Life for You? I'll tell you now. It's just you and the bits of love you find. Thank you.
Let's observe 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots.
In the meanwhile, a quick audio and video check for speaker number 3. Contest chair, I am not able to see speaker number 3.
Speaker number 3
Speaker
is
number Speaker number 3 will not be coming for a personal emergency. You please keep speaker number 4 ready. Urfia, contest master, will nonetheless proceed in the same manner that we discussed yesterday. Still call out speaker number 3 thrice, and then only after a pause we go to speaker number 4. Tech master, please get speaker number 4 ready. Tech master, please get speaker number 4 ready.
Yes. So for speaker number 4, Divya. So can you please switch on your video?
Okay.
Divya, audio and video check for you.
Yes.
Yes, you are audible and you are visible. Thank you. Over to you, contest chair.
Thank you. Hello,
so
everyone.
let us welcome contestant number 3, Shanu Goel. Being over optimistic is not always bad. Being over optimistic is not always bad. Shanu Goel. Shanu Goel. Shanu Goel. As he's not present in the room, let us move on to contestant number 4, Divya. Have a little courage to get more. Have a little courage to get more, Divya.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Be brave enough. Who are you? What is you? You are in the heart. A day in my life. How it changed my life in between 2 bus stops is my story. It was the day in the month of October 2007. In the evening, I followed a news about a job requirement in Hyderabad. Without any thought, I reserved my ticket to Hyderabad from Karimnagar. By 11 o'clock, just have started with my parents. I packed 2 full bags and I reached the bus stop at 10 o'clock. A small hesitation I'm at just 22. And just I booked my cab and reached the bus stop. And later, the bus came. I was little nervous because that was my first journey without my parents. I got into the bus. I bid bye to my parents. Unconsciously, the tears were rolled out. I was unable to stop. But I observed a person who sat beside me, who stared at me. Just I cleared my tears and sat like a brave because I'm alone. That's why I have to manage myself. Then, after a while, we had a conversation. Then we have become good friends and we exchanged our numbers. And he wished me good luck for my interview. And he's still in my contact list. And who was my first friend of that age. And the next morning at 4 o'clock, I reached Mahatma Gandhi bus station where already my brother was waiting to receive me. And we took a bus to Barkatpura, where my brother resides. I got fresh up and picked my biodata also. And I got presented with my brother in the Barkatpura bus stop at 8 o'clock. We were waiting for the bus. A bus came and all the passengers are clambered into the bus. And the bus left with my brother. I was alone, still stood. I was clueless what to do. After 5 minutes, my brother came and he took me to the Mehdipatnam interview venue. There already one more surprise waiting for me because the interview hall full of like a market. It's full of festival market like that. And around 1,000 people are present over there and they're busy with their form filling and everything. Then I thought it was not my job. Let's move from here. But having a little courage there, I filled my form and I submitted. After 1 hour, they called me to give a written test. I gave my written test. Right, I wrote 2 essays, my role model and my hometown. Then after a while, they gave result that my number is also there in the list. It was an amazing thing for me. And now the next one is that I gave within 1 hour gave my technical test and all those things. I was in, and they asked me to wait in a mini hall for my test, the final HR round. I was there with 10 people. The whole crowd is 1,000 people, but only the 10 members are got selected. So I was little feeling that from that 1,000, I was one of the person who got selected. Then the time is passing, evening around 7:30, they called me to a chair round. I silently went into the interview hall. There are people, 3 present over there with a long table. A lady with 34 years, a gent with 40 plus, and one more person, a old person with around 55, 60. A lady voice asked me a question, introduce me yourself. I started introducing, I completed, it went well. Then one more person, okay. Do you know Hindi? Then I said firmly, no sir, I don't know Hindi. Then she sighed, the lady was sighed to that person who is around 55. He was said, no, that's the simple sigh as the nodding head. I made me that, okay, it's not my job then. I simply left the room and I just walking towards the bus stop. I sat over there, but the thing is what, I came with 2 full bags. Just I'm going to prove something here. That made me, I wasn't thought of that things. Suddenly a sound cracked. Hey, they was calling you. Yes, I followed the person. Again, I get into the room. They were going to ask something, but I started, I know Hindi. Then they asked me, speak something about in Hindi, something. Then I started about Charminar. I started for 2 minutes. I was completely floored my things. Okay, this is Charminar and Charminar 4 minute is the middle of the things. The person who is around 55, he said, Divya, you're in. That was a memorable day for me because someone said that it is not your job because you don't know something, but I made it. It's really wonderful. That journey, all the time, I'll just recall it, and whenever the things are tough for me, I'll recall that things and I'll make it myself. So when we have a little courage, we can make anything possible for us. So this is my story, what I observed with a little courage. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's observe 1 minute of silence again for the judges to mark their ballots.
I request speaker number 5, Aveen Kaur, to sit on their videos. Hi Aveen, this is audio and visual check. Can you speak something to confirm? You are not audible, Praveen. Please unmute yourself. I'm unmuting you. Please unmute yourself.
Avreen, you will get a prompt to unmute yourself on the screen. TechMaster is doing that. And yes, thank you, Sumit. Avreen, please say a sentence at least.
Am I audible now?
Yes, Avreen, you are audible and visible.
Okay.
Thank you. Contest chair, I confirm the audio and visual check for Avreen.
Great. So let's welcome our contestant number 5, Avreen. An epiphany in my life. An epiphany in my life, Avreen.
Life is like a roller coaster. It has its ups and downs, but it's your choice to scream or enjoy the ride. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters, participants, guests, judges, and contest chair. The lines that I just now quoted are from one of my favorite quotes and one of the very first quote that I ever learned by heart. This became the philosophy of my life at a very young age of 13 years. Little did I know back then that my life was going to take a crazy turn within a few years from then. Let me take you to the beginning of all of this. I was born in a city in Punjab called Amritsar. After my sister was born a few years later, me and my family moved to Dubai, which is a state in the United Arab Emirates, Middle East. Fast forward to the age 11, I realized how passionate I was about music and singing. I always knew that I wanted to learn Hindustani classical music because my grandfather told me that it was the base for learning music. But the challenge in Dubai was finding a Hindustani classically trained teacher. Every year during our summer vacations of about 1.5 months, we would come to India and visit my grandparents. Now, this was the only time during the entire year I would actually get to experience life here firsthand. The busy streets, the crowded shops, and the very frequent power cuts, especially during summertime. Coming into 12th grade was the turning point in my life. It was during this year my parents decided that it was time to move back to India. This, for me and my sister, was one of our worst nightmares. Moving from a place we made all our fond memories, moving from a place where we had all our childhood friends, and moving from a place we called home. That was too much to ask from mere teenagers. Nevertheless, we tried our level best in trying to convince our parents to stay. But you can't really question fate now, can you? Fate had its own plans in store for us. About 3 years later, we moved to Amritsar. And coming here, I realized my life had turned upside down. Although we were here during our summer vacations every year, but the thought of actually living here and going to a completely new school terrified me. The first year was quite tough because I was still resisting the change. It wasn't until I accepted this place that it accepted me in return. Moving to Amritsar turned to be an epiphany for me in my life in 3 ways. First, I finally got to learn Hindustani classical music from a very learned guru who helped me create a foundation in my voice that I had always been looking for. Second, reality finally hit me. Now, back in the 11th grade in Dubai, I had a very chill attitude. I didn't have any specific plans, nor I knew what I was going to do after 12th grade. It was coming here in the school that I saw my peers around me having such clear defined goals about their future. Now, this put me into a healthy competition with myself. And after I realized that, I realized a very important point. That is the importance of planning for my future. Third, I started mastering and honing my craft. I developed a clarity towards my path in music. I found this really amazing online signature songwrite program and a mentor that completely changed my life. So now, when I look back and try to connect the dots, I realize and understand why everything happened a certain way. Now, because of moving here, I got to learn Hindustani classical music. I realized the importance of planning, and I started working towards my craft. Now, if it wasn't for moving here, I would have missed out on all these things. In the end, I would like to conclude a few lines said by Socrates. The secret of change is to focus all of your energy, not on fighting the old, but on creating the new. So the next time you're faced with change, don't resist it, embrace it. Thank you. Over to you, contest chair.
Let us again observe 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots.
I request speaker number 6, Fatima Khadar, to switch on her video and audio for the quick audio and video check. Fatima Khadar.
Yes, is my audio audible?
Yes, you are audible and you are visible as well.
I request Vinay Mantri, who is raising his hand, to drop me a message in the personal window or on the WhatsApp group or in my personal WhatsApp window if there is anything urgent. Thank you.
So, contest chair, I confirm audio and visual check for Fatima Khadar. Over to you.
Thank you. Let us all welcome our contestant number 6, Fatima. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, Fatima.
Hello, everyone. I know this might be a little difficult having this appearance and all of that, but let me introduce you all. I'm Fatma Khader and I belong from Saudi Arabia, Jeddah. I'm born and brought up there and I'm 19 years old. Now, coming to this topic for believing in yourself, I have a story to share with you all. Let me start. And this is all about how I started. I was a normal girl, average student, studied in embassy school, IISJ, and completed my 10th grade. Now, there in Saudi Arabia, this is a system like if you want to get a biomath subject, you got to crack an exam. Only if you crack this exam, you will get the seat. I got all my books, sat down, and I studied to my level best, got the entrance exam, cleared it. This was the best part of my life. And now I'm like, okay, now I'm choosing maths and biology. I'm doing engineering. I'm doing medicine. Whatever comes, this is what I'm doing. Done. I'm studying. I'm taking my classes, 11th grade classes. In between, one day, my dad, he calls me and he's sitting in front of the desktop and he's like, Fatma, I have something to tell you. And I'm like, what is it? And he goes like, you got an international scholarship from King Abdulaziz University. And I'm like, so what? Okay. I'm focused on this. I worked hard for getting this entrance exam and I'm still doing my medicine. I'm not seeing anything else. And it was just like that. And I'm just like this papa's girl, You see, I'm my dad's favorite. I'm like, okay, I have to listen to him. I want to listen to him. And I decided that, okay, whatever happens, I'll just take a month gap and I'll try going to the university and try. I went to the university, the tables turned around, and I started loving the university. This was a new thing. Now my entire focus was on my university, and I chose my major as Arabic. That was the plan. 2 years passed down. I had this always in my mind. Oh my God, you're an NRI, still a 10th pass person. Oh my God, what's happening? That was there in my mind. But still now I was focused on the subject Arabic, and I was doing my research. This is after 2 years. I started doing my research work. Again, there is a surprise from my dad. He comes in with this big bundles of book, kept it on my table, and goes like, Fatma, you know what? You got an admission transfer to India, and you'll have to give your 11th and 12th together CBSE board exam within 3 months. This is December. I'm like, Dad, what is wrong with you? I'm doing my Arabic research right now. Why will I do this? I don't want to do this. But again, Dad's girl, you see, want to try, give it a try. Like, okay, I'll do my research work, travel back to India, wrote my exams in Kendra Vidyalaya, also give an international entrance exam for UGCSE. Here we have for bachelor's exam. I gave the exam and I'm done this time. Everything calmed down. I got my results, and guess what happened? I got All India rank 1 for bachelor's degree. I'm happy. I'm at my level best. Everything feels like stars, heaven, everything in one day I'm feeling right now. I'm prepared to get treated like the people who have been treated for NEET first rank people and all of that. I'm prepared for this. Everything is done. I'm happy. I'm going to do B honors, Arabic. Everything is done. And one fine day I reached this place where we had to go for a wedding. Me and my mom got ready, went to the wedding, and this is where the drama started. There is one auntie, okay? She comes in and she's like, hey, how are you? What are you studying now? My mom would proudly, she's like, oh, she's doing a bachelor's. She completed her 12th, and she gave me this response as if I committed a murder. I literally committed a murder. I'm like, what is wrong? I was prepared to give this, oh, thank you, I got first rank. I was prepared for such reactions. But instead of that, she's like, I got a negative response. The negative response is like, oh my God, what subject is this? You got to do engineering. She's not going to get good proposals. You're not going to get good job in this Infosys and these good companies. She's just going to get replaced very fast. I came to home and my mom is hurting. This night I can't forget. My mom rolled down to tears. I could not bear it. I slammed my door, came to my bed, slept. Next morning, I packed my bags. I put in all my certificates. I go and like to my mom. I'm like, do whatever you want to. I am taking admission in engineering. Whatever you want to do it. And you know what? We say this, that God helps you. He turns your table. This is what happened. I got a double promotion from the university, and I was able to do a night course and engineering. So this was my routine. Get up in the morning, go to the college, complete your till morning 9 to 5, take 1 hour cab, go to the university, complete my bachelor's. I'm standing in front of you all, sitting, in this Zoom meeting, completed my bachelor's, be honest, 19 years old, and completed my engineering. And this is what I have to share. Believe in yourself, you can do anything you want to. Thank you. Back to Toastmaster contest.
Let us again observe 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots.
I request speaker number 7, Vinay Mantri, to please switch on his video and audio.
Nimit, kindly unmute the ID that he is requesting for. Vinay, speak so that we can confirm that we can hear you. Nimit, his second ID, kindly unmute that.
Yes. Am I audible and visible?
There is an echo because there are 2 devices logged in, so you might want to mute the second device. The video device, you have to keep it in Yeah.
Is this okay?
Yes. Vinay, can you speak something?
Yes, go on. Is my audio and video all right?
Yes, yes, Vinay, you are visible and audible. Thank you.
I request timer to show the green and yellow card at least for 5 seconds. Some speakers may skip it if it just flashes too fast. Thank you.
Over to you,
Over to you,
contestant.
Urfia.
Let us now welcome contestant number 7, Vinay. An open letter to the pandemic. An open letter to the pandemic, Vinay.
Hello, Toastmasters and fellow participants. Good afternoon. They say the COVID virus is airborne, and if so, I'd like to make this platform an opportunity to speak my heart out and try to negotiate my life with the virus. Dearest pandemic, I wish you would get life back to where it was. It's been 5 months now, and I am tired of watching places being closed, wearing masks, and trying to stay away from the thing I like most, people. I want to feel free to go places, rejuvenate, and get back to the monotony of my daily life. COVID, I hope you get it and just disappear. I don't know if I can keep up without losing myself or accepting the new normal as a way of life. You've taught me enough already, and I can't thank you less for giving me an opportunity to look within. But slowly, all that is available inside is starting to bore me. My inner self might have read this already and made peace with it. Now it's time for you to understand what it means to let people be and let them live, like literally. I don't want to listen to ambulance sirens and people dying off randomly. It scares me to see someone putting their life at risk when they move around in full body PPE kits. The very expression of when is this going to finally end? I used to love my life otherwise as well. And I still think it's precious, but you scared me now. And I think staying at home all day isn't really healthy for families to bond all of a sudden. Well, we all have our plates full of things that we need to deal with. And then when they get empty, they get to the sink, scrub, wash, repeat. I started finding more value in the money we spend on domestic help. I miss my mother fretting over her maid not reaching on time. I think I now have faded memories of my friends and wouldn't be surprised to recognize them without looking twice. Maintaining social distance has created a rift in the way I interact with people. Now I pass them, I'm in a constant conflict of wanting to stay warm and converse with them versus quickly get away since I'm not sure if they have COVID or not. I cannot possibly live a sane life by suspecting each individual to see and cause my harm to my lungs. When I suddenly fall short of breath, I get tense and try to check the capacity of my lungs to mentally validate that I'm not a carrier of the virus. I don't think of traveling anymore. I just try to find peace in my surroundings. We can do away with vehicles and breathe fresher air. The key word in the last sentence is to be able to breathe. I like rolling down the window of my car when I drive, and I don't know if that's safe. Whenever I see traffic, I quickly roll it up, switch to AC mode, and start praying to the Ganesha idol on the dashboard to help the air filters keep the virus away. Traffic on the road suddenly seems right. It's like a sign that says everything is getting back to where it was. And then suddenly the trigger that says, hey, shouldn't you guys be back at home while I can roam freely? I have bathed more in these 3 months than I have in any summer. My clothes are so fresh from wash that my body finds it tough to know what's going on. I have rarely seen myself in the mirror these days. My hair is straightened only when I can get away with not maintaining my looks by saying, hey, it's risky to have a haircut, you know. I don't need to bother about the clothes that I wear since there's a huge interval in the times that I really step out of my house. and my face is covered anyway. So nobody is hitting on strangers these days. You never know. I have found an equilibrium with my mind, not wanting to desire food, travel, concert, experiences. These days, everything seems to be free and available either on some Instagram Live or some Zoom platform. Everyone has time and doesn't know what to do with it. They'll either spend it creatively, do some domestic work, or start quarreling. I've learned how to manage myself, my emotions, and I now understand what you as a pandemic wanted to teach me. Three things. One, no matter what the circumstances, we can stay happy with what we have. Two, human species is mortal. We need to take care of ourselves and our close ones. We might not get another shot at life. Three, let's start trying to live it. I want each one on this call to take a deep breath, raise your fist and tell yourself, we will make it. Definitely make it. And in case you're falling short of your breath, please go check yourself. Thank you so much for your time.
It's time we observe 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots.
I request speaker number 8, Rajesh, to please be ready with their audio and video on.
Am I audible?
Yes, Rajesh, you are audible and you are visible. Thank you. Over to you, contest chair.
Let us now welcome our contestant number 8, Rajesh. Stay strong, stay positive. Stay strong, stay positive, Rajesh.
In a pandemic situation, I was so much happy that I'll get chance to work from home and I'll spend some time with my family. Even I'll learn new technology to upskill myself. The next day, I have a project management professional exam which to be happening, and I was so excited for this exam because it is one of the most important, important industry recognized certificate it will add to my profile. Suddenly, I got a call from my HR and she asked me to resign immediately as company is going through the bad condition and many projects are on hold. I was once shocked and completely broken down. I I don't because I was performing well and even the company is generating good revenue for my skills. Even my client was happy with me. Since there is no option for me to say no, I immediately put the paper and next exam, which also I did not do well because I could not concentrate properly. And next couple of days I could not talk with anyone. I was thinking that how can I survive now in this current situation? How will I pay my EMI? I don't have enough funds to survive. When my father heard all those news, he suggested me to forget everything. Start from the beginning. He advised me to read and complete the Gita, Bhagavad Gita. I obeyed his words and started reading all those. Each and every chapters I read, one line which give me a lot of inner courage. दुखेषु उद्विग्नमनः सुखेषु विगतस्पृहः वितरागो भयक्रोधो स्थितिधीन मुनिरुच्यते. The person who remains silent, who is stable in both ups and downs, called a determined person. I try to retrospect myself. What is wrong with me? Then I found nothing wrong on my performance. Only things I have to increase my connection. I try to find ways to stop procrastinating. Then I did something that changed my life. I start asking people, all the successful people, what they are doing, how they are more productive. From successful people, what I learned, there is no shortcut. You need to work hard, start improving your connections, and positive attitude. So give me this one. I start contacted people through social media. Even I try to contact my biggest client to check if any opportunities are there. When they heard all those news, they were really shocked because I was the best performer and I was a critical resource for them. They suggested wait for 10 to 15 days. And in 1 week, I got a call from the vice president of this company. Believe me, it was one of the best interviews I've given so far. He was so much happy. And the same day I got the offer letter. In between, I've given a lot of interviews and all are doing well because of my determination speech. Because I was positive always. So, whatever the situations, if you stay calm and handle the situation accordingly, success will come automatically. Stay strong, stay positive, never give up. Thank you.
Let's observe 1 minute of silence again for the judges to mark their ballots.
In the meanwhile, I request speaker 9 to be ready. Speaker
Amit,
9.
can you do audio video check?
Am I audible and
Yes.
visible?
Yes, Preet, you are audible and visible. Thank you. Contest chair, over to you.
Let us now welcome our contestant number 9, Preet. What's your story? What's your story, Preet?
Our past may shape us, but it doesn't define who we become. Good afternoon, judges and fellow storytellers. Little did I know that being crippled by polio at a tender age of 2 would actually define how I lead my future life. And this was just the beginning, as misery had become my only friend. From wearing painful braces to be able to walk, to being ridiculed when I wanted to play with my friends, or being asked to make compromises when it came to my choices of studies, career, or even marriage. I was told, you are disabled and your chances of getting married, if at all, are only to another disabled. Polio had become my identity. I was referred as, oh, that poor girl with polio. So whether I liked it or not, suffering a polio attack, becoming a single child, single parent, or even a failed marriage actually played a significant role in who I have become today. We are unreliable narrators of our own stories. I am, you are, and so is everybody else that you know. And it's quite true from particular point of view, from our own point of view, for what we emphasize on, what we minimize, what we leave in, what we leave out, or how we view a particular situation, or we want others to view it. For me, it was during the birth of my second child, Ganesh. I had put on 82 kgs of weight. My crippling body could no further take the weight. My limbs were weakening. I didn't find myself desirable anymore. Feelings of worthlessness plagued me. My life felt empty. And unable to bear this agony any further, I decided I had to lose weight. I joined a marathon club. And yet, I made a mockery of myself, only to stumble every time I tried to pace with my fellow runners. But all I wanted to do is just run away from everything. So I ran with my crippled body and soul. I just ran and ran and ran. You wouldn't think a polio survivor could actually run a marathon. But here I was, 6 months of hardship, struggle, and wearing some specially designed shoes. I did run my first marathon. It was a revelation. I had finally found my passion. My biggest weakness became my strength, and thus started a new chapter in my life. From nowhere, I was everywhere. Newspaper articles, radio interviews were enough to boost my feeble self. I became an inspiration for many. So I have been telling myself stories for the last 40 years. And I realized I had the power to tell myself a new one. My 1-year-old stint working with Beryl Kumar, a hypnotherapist and a life management coach, and volunteering for certain NGOs helped me gain insight into people's challenges, problems, their emotional traumas. My resurrection just didn't help me. It enabled me to facilitate others strike a balance in their professional, emotional, and love lives. I had now started healing and nurturing broken souls. I became a healer, a coach, a friend. None of us can go back and change the past. But what we can do is stop telling the stories that we have been telling ourselves about our past. I'm currently working on a new goal, writing a new story, to be a para-athlete at an international level. And I get a lot of resistance. This is not the age. So I am changing the narrative of my story. It's time you change the narrative of your story. Thank you.
Let's observe 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots.
So moving on, now I move to speaker number 10, Arinjay. I have spotlighted you. Please, let's do a quick audio and video check.
Am I audible?
Yes, Arinjay, you are audible and you are visible.
Visible? Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Back to contest chair.
Let us all welcome contestant number 10, Arinjay, the power of transformational self-worth. The power of transformational self-worth, Arinjay.
Greetings of the hour, everyone. People ask me, why do you dream when all your dreams get crushed? I want to tell them, why are you asking me this? I don't have any reply. But deep down, I feel, what is your life worth if you don't have a dream? It's all about living for that one day when you look back and say, yes, I have made it. We all know crow is the only bird which catches the flight of an eagle. Crows catches the flight of an eagle, it sits on the neck of an eagle and starts biting. Eagle is undisturbed by crow's intention. On the contrary, it soars high as he could fly. And that makes crow very uncomfortable because it becomes impossible for the crow to breathe. And guess what happens? Crow loses its grip and falls down. My dear friends, it happens to all of us. If we chase our dreams passionately, then the toxins, the negativity around us falls down. I so much resonate with this story. There was a time in my life when I was standing on the crossroad of life. I was an unemployed youth, a school dropout. I was boozing, smoking, and roaming all around. That was my daily routine. I was living a purposeless, meaningless life. I was in a company of a notorious. And one tragic moment happened in my life. I lost my father at very young age. At the age of 20, I lost my father. The responsibility of my mother was on my shoulder. As if it was not enough, I was a chronic asthma patient. Every year in winter, I had to be hospitalized for nebulization and other treatments. I was so frustrated at the young age. One day, lying on the bed at the hospital, I was watching television, which was provided in a ward. There was an interview aired on that day. It was an interview of Shri Ravi Shankar ji, who's the founder of Art of Living Foundation. He was sharing about the research findings of AIMS, where doctors have said that the Sudarshan Kriya, which Art of Living teaches, if you practice this rhythmic breathing technique for a few months, it has been found that it can cure respiratory disorders to some extent. That day I committed to myself that whenever I'll go out, I'll find where this Art of Living Center is and I'll go and learn this technique. I did exactly that. I went out, I found about the center, I learned the technique, I learned yoga, I learned meditation, and I learned the breathing technique. And I practiced it consistently for 5 months. Then the winter comes. Guess what? This time I was free of all my prescribed medicines, inhalers, and the confinement of 4 walls of my room. This winter brings freedom for me, an internal freedom. I was out of all prescribed medications and precautions. This has changed the perspective of my life completely. I started to believe that life is what you think if you want to achieve something, if you think you can achieve it, you will eventually achieve it. And from there, my journey of self-development, transformation, spiritualism, and the quest of growth begins. Fast forward 10 years. Today, I'm a National Faculty of Art of Living Foundation, a certified yoga trainer, a transformational mindset coach. I'm featured in Forbes India, and I'm on a mission to empower youth by raising their self-worth. My friends, sometimes we even don't realize what immense potentialities we hold. We all think that we need to be an extraordinary. We need to be very special to come out of this struggling phase of life. But we forget to realize that taking small, meaningful, and consistent action, focused action, can lead us to a complete transformation. We all need to combine all our resources, be it our mental, physical, or emotional resources. We just need to combine it. My friends, just remember, it's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you are hit and still you choose to move forward. With gratitude, thank you very much.
Thank you. It is time we observe 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots.
I request speaker number 11, Prerna Rao, to be ready with audio and video on. Speaker number 11, this is an audio and video check. Can you confirm? Please unmute yourself.
Nimit, prompt her once again. She might have missed it.
Okay. I have asked you to unmute. Can you please unmute yourself?
She is unmuted.
Yeah, I've done it.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes, Prerna, you are audible and you are visible. Thank you. Over to you, contest chair.
Let us now welcome contestant number 11, Prerna, Life, a Crisscross Journey. Life, a Crisscross Journey, Prerna.
Sharing my life story was always part of my bucket list. And through this platform, I am finally able to put a tick mark on it. Thank you, Toastmasters, for this amazing opportunity, and a special thanks to Mr. Neet Mittal for helping me in making the most of this opportunity. My enlightenment life story began after my school days. Before that, life was very simple and smooth. It had to be very simple and smooth as my family, almost after 4 generations, was blessed with a baby girl child, and that too the eldest one. The pampering level was very high. Guys, let me tell you, the higher the level of pampering, the higher is the level of your dumbness. And this I'm telling you with my full-fledged experience. Though your family members, they'll call it as your innocence, but that's not true. They're just making fool out of you. I'll give a short glimpse to my dumbness. During our school days, almost everyone needed that nerdy look that our class topper had. Though in my case, almost everyone in my class had that nerdy look, and I was so obsessed with that look that I needed spectacles desperately. I asked my parents for it, but they never felt free to my ploys. I never got those spectacles. While all this spectacle obsession was going on, I one day seriously was not able to see from my one eye. God took my obsession too seriously. I told my parents about it, but they paid no heed to it. Rather, they said, stop being a drama every time. After that, I told my grandmother about it. She took me to the hospital where I was diagnosed with brain hemorrhage. My whole family was in trauma. But guess what? I was extremely happy as I thought that now finally I'll get those spectacles. Though it was all in vain, I never got those spectacles. What I got was heavy treatments. This hemorrhage took one whole year to get flushed out from my body, and it left my body with slow growth, backbone problems, and some learning disabilities. That's it. Rest, everything was fine. Slowly and steadily, my life was coming on track. I passed my 12th with flying colors and got admission in Miranda House. And from here begins the real life journey. From here begins the learning phase of my life. I went to Delhi in 2013 with no worldly knowledge. I had no friends there. I literally felt like an alien whenever I used to see around me. The world in which I have entered was completely different from the world I came. I started from zero. Though all this awkwardness came to an end when one day a girl with 2 beer bottles entered into my room, and I, with deep concern, asked her not to drink. But she retorted, I'm a Punjabi girl, and we Punjabis can't think of any celebration without booze. She gave me 10 minutes lecture on booze and somehow convinced me to consume one. And guess what? We became best friends. The best friends with those heavy promises and pledges. I lived almost all my happy to go moments with her. The family extended with time. The life was so perfect. I got a family away from my home. These 3 years ended just in a blink of an eye. After that, almost everyone moved back to their hometowns, and I stayed back for my further studies. With the end of graduation started the hustling phase of my life. This phase was colored by the disbelief of many around me. My parents, they were extremely unhappy with me as I decided to change my subject. My friends, they left me due to some misunderstanding. Everything was going so wrong. Not even a single thing was there that could make me happy. The only option I was left with was to indulge myself into studies. When everyone were making lifetime promises with their partners or were looking for their future partners, I was crying for my friends. When everyone partied or were going on holidays with their friends and families, I studied. These 2 years of masters taught me how to love myself, how to be my own best friend. With this started the revolutionary phase of my life. I broke all conceivable barriers. I cleared my national agency test and was appointed as an assistant professor. Icing on the cake, I got admission at IIT Bombay to pursue my PhD. I started going for solo trips these years, 2013 to 2019. In these years, I have experienced the bestest days of my life and the worst days of my life. These years taught me nothing is permanent, not the happiness nor the sadness. Here I would like to quote a line, this too shall pass. These years made me more patient and more optimistic. Whenever I feel like nothing is going right or accordingly, I always remember lines by Mr. Harivansh Rai Bachchan, Man ka ho to acha, man ka na ho to aur bhi acha. That is, if things are going as per your wish, then it's good. And if not, then it is even better. With this, I hereby end my speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Prerna. Let us now observe 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots.
The next speaker is speaker number 12. I request Diksha. I have asked you to unmute. Please take stage.
Yeah, I'm audible and visible.
1 second. Yeah, so can you come again?
Hope I'm audible and visible, Nimit.
Yes, you are audible and visible. Thank you. Over to you, contest chair.
Okay.
Let us now welcome our contestant number 12, Diksha. Finding myself. Finding myself, Diksha.
Hi, a very good afternoon to all of you. Before I begin my journey, I have a small question to all of you. Do you feel that you are living the real version of yourself in life? Seems weird? Don't worry, I don't want any answers out of you. I just want you all to think about it for a second. Okay. So the reason I asked this question is because my story, my journey revolves around finding my true self. Let me take you all to the flashback. When I look back, I realize that most of the decisions about my life were already taken before I was born, either by my parents or by the lovely society we are a part of. What subjects to focus on, to what career should I prefer was already decided. So when I saw everybody around me abiding the same rules, I thought maybe living and following the same mainstream path is the only way to live life. So as a kid, I made a small rule for myself. I decided to play safe, to take no risk, and to live life with utmost caution. All this while, there was a voice in my head that kept telling me that there is something wrong. But what? I always did things the right way. What probably could go wrong now? Perhaps it's just my mind playing games with me. It was back in summer of 2018 while I was sitting in my office cafeteria, sipping my coffee and randomly going through an article, when I stumbled upon a question that shook me completely. The question was, what would you do differently if you are given a second chance in life? I realized that I absolutely had no clue. Did that mean I'm content with my life? The voices in my head popped up again with a big no. And this time I could not ignore them. I realized that all through these years, I was trying to fit in. I never explored to discover what really matters to me. So when these thoughts came overwhelming, they came in waves for several days and it became overwhelming, I decided to take a break and go for a trip with my friends. When at the last moment, majority of them backed out. I was sad, but then I realized, what if I take this trip alone? I did all my research and chose a beautiful hamlet in the Parvati Valley of Himachal Pradesh and decided to go for it. Getting the tickets done was so easy, but sleeping with the anxiety of unknown was way too hard initially. But this time I could not let my comfort restrict me, so I decided to go ahead and make this plunge. During my trip, I met a belly dancer who had taken major risks in life to follow her passion. A guy from France who has been traveling barefoot with hardly any money, surviving just by teaching French to the school children. A lawyer who has left his high paying job to be a full time traveler and has been on roads for past 3 months. I was amazed to be among people who have such great zeal for living life. Together we went hiking to the mountain tops to watch amazing sunrises and sunsets. While coming back, we used to see spectacular waterfalls. Sitting in the apple orchards, talking to the locals, listening to their life stories, and relishing over the freshly harvested apples is still my best summer memory. During night, we used to sit around the bonfire, have our dinner, sing, dance, and share our stories. Looking at the gigantic mountains at 3 a.m. in the morning and hearing the gushing deep waters of River Parvati, I realized that there is so much for us to learn from nature. Irrespective of the condition, these mountains stand tall and this river keeps on flowing. My worries seem so little. I felt that something within me has changed. And like they say, freedom is a state of mind. I felt free for the first time in my life, not bounded by any expectations, deadlines to meet, or schedules to follow. I was happy seeing myself grow with these enriching experiences. It taught me this, it taught me a lot and changed me as a person. Since that very first trip, today I've taken almost around 15 trips, and it wasn't a smooth sail, to be honest. Today I'm someone who has flown at 8,000 feet above the sea level amidst Himalayas, jumped from the mountain top at 272 feet, dived in the natural waters, survived a major rafting accident, and still got over it to cover a 16 kilometers rafting stretch. Traveling solo changed my perception towards myself and towards the world. So, this was my transformation story. Hope this helps you to get out of your comfort zone and explore and discover yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Diksha. Let us now observe 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots.
I'll just unmute for a minute Vinay Mantri's ID and we'll check if he has something that he wants to share. Vinay?
Yes.
You raise your hand?
Yes, you've unmuted me. Can you see me?
Yes, you have something to share?
No, I'm not. Okay, I might have mistakenly raised my hand. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nimit, over to you.
Thank you, Anand. So we are now left with the last participant, participant 13, Shruti Shetty. I request you to please take center stage. Shruti, this is an audio and video check. Can you please confirm? I ask you to unmute yourself, please. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yeah. Am I visible and audible?
Yes. Thank you, Shruti, for confirming. Over to you, contest chair.
Let us now welcome contestant number 13, Shruti. Experience tells you what to do. Confidence allows you to do it. Experience tells you what to do. Confidence allows you to do it. Shruti.
I am from a place which is a native of two beauty queens of Bollywood, Shilpa Shetty and Aishwarya Rai. Any guesses? Yes, I am from Bangalore. I have been seeing many beautiful people around me. So from a childhood, I had that inferior complexity, saying that okay, I'm dark, I'm not good looking, and all. So guys, you don't know, I have tried everything in this earth where I can, which will make me feel good or like make me look good. Okay, so I tried many fairness creams, I tried many, I consulted dermatologists, I consulted beauticians, I tried everything, all the possibilities to make me look good. No, it was like, it was giving me a result for some time. Okay, and once I stopped, it was back to square one. So later point when I experience my life, right, that's where I realize the actual problem is. Okay, so let me share some of my personal problems. My ex-husband, he was mentally and physically torturing, abusing me. So there were days where he had beaten me up and kicked me out of the houses and all. And during the initial, beginning of the month, he used to be very good to me so that I can give my salary to him, so I can share. So I'm a girl who who was expecting just love and affection from my husband. So that's where I was like, okay, at least by sharing my money, he might change. But it was not the case. Every time, only initial, the beginning of the month, it used to be like that. So later point, what happened was I got into depression, where whenever I see the ceiling fan or when I see some big buildings, I used to feel, okay, let me jump or let me hang myself in the ceiling fan. So one good thing was I was still working. When I used to go to office, the only thing I used to do is like I used to call my parents or a good wishers, well wishers. I used to call them and I used to ask, see, this is what is happening. What should I do? So they were like giving me a moral support, which was making me feel good. Okay, thinking like, okay, yeah, it's not only people see bad about me. There are people who think good about me. Okay, this continued, and to add on this, I also remember my manager. Okay, he was watching me, he was observing me during this period. Okay, like for first 10 months I was performing really good. It's like I was a good performer of the team. But when he saw me drastically change in the performance, he realized what is happening. He asked me once. Then during the appraisal rating, what he did is he told, I'm observing you from a long time, but if you continue in this way, it's very difficult for you to move on. Okay, you need to decide what you have to do now, what you need to do next. So that's when he just shared my rating also. See, he just told, yeah, this time I'm rating you only for the 10 months where you worked, but not for the current performance where you are not at all working, right? So guys, he gave me out commendable performer for that particular during that appraisal. Okay, that's when I realized it was a turning point for me. When I realized, yes, there are, you know, I am good at work. I'm a good performer. So why should I worry or bother about someone who's not even, showing that love, affection, only behind money, etc. That's when I started concentrating at work, and also took a decision on that day, and moved on. Like I got separated, I got divorced, and later point I just started concentrating at work. That's the only thing I did, and I spent my times with my family. I used to go out. So that year when I started concentrating completely at work, that's when I was rated as the outstanding performer, and I received many rewards from the client. And I have, and also I was I got many appreciation from the client, many rewards from the client, and even I also had rated as an outstanding performer, as I told you earlier. So this where I felt this is the place. We need to have that self satisfaction and self confidence. This is when you feel that is the actual beauty of life. Okay, so whenever I see someone in depression, I go and talk to them, I make them feel good, and which will make me also feel good, that like, okay, I'm saving someone's life, I'm making them, I'm making them feel that like we need to survive. Okay, and ultimately it's one life. So I always tell them, like, let us enjoy it, let us be good to all, intentionally don't go to hurt anyone. And that's where even I decided to move on in my life, and I've been doing good, and I expect to help others always. So at least, hence I would like to say, what experience tells you what to do and confidence allows you to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Shruti. Since this was our last contestant, we will observe 2 minutes of silence for the judges to mark their ballots.
Judges will mark their ballots and will WhatsApp them separately to the ballot counters and myself. So please let me know when the 2 minutes are up. We will check with judges back then.
In the meanwhile, I take this opportunity to acknowledge all the participants who have taken.
Nimit, let this silence remain the silence for 2 minutes, and afterwards we will do that. Thank you. Are the 2 minutes up? Right, so it seems like I have got all the judges' ballots and the ballot counters. Ragini, can you also confirm? Have you received all the ballots?
Yes, I did.
All right, and Dikshant is also confirmed. So let us three take some time off. I will WhatsApp you personally. You stay in the call. Just keep your video and audio off, and I will coordinate with you in the WhatsApp. Meanwhile, Nimit, I request you to leverage this time to take a short impression of how this event was. They are Distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder and Distinguished Toastmaster Mukta Natkar. At sharp 3 o'clock, they both have to leave. So let us first hear from them. And I will come back meanwhile.
Sure, thank you very much. So I request DTM Mukta Natkar, who has been so kind to give us time today. So can we have a few words from you, please?
Yes, so thank you so much, and good afternoon to everyone. You really don't have to thank me. I need to thank you today for having invited me, because this has been a spectacular two hours, almost 2 hours, 1 hour and something. I never ever imagined this quality of speeches. You have blown my mind, and your stories are incredible. Some of them were hilarious. Some of them were so moving that I just couldn't help but be moved by all of your speeches, the talent you have. And I really think you should continue to be telling your stories because they are so beautiful. Whether you're a young girl in Jeddah or Dubai or someone older staying in Mangalore, each one of you has incredible stories to tell. I have been a Toastmaster for more than 13 years and have heard thousands of speeches. But what I heard today is really equal to many of the top district speeches that we have in our Toastmasters committee. So congratulations to each one of you for being brave, for being courageous to tell your story. I also thank Anant and Rupinder because I know there has been a lot of effort behind this where they have provided mentorship and guidance to many of you, and to everyone who has put in the time to organize this event and give you a platform from where you can voice your stories and your opinions of things. So thank you very much. I have really been privileged and honored to be amongst you. Over to you.
Thank you, DTM Mukta. So now I move on to DTM Rupinder Singh for his words.
I'm going to tell you the story of a Ramayana that was never written. You see, when, to quote Shakespeare, the hurly-burly was done and the battle was lost and won, Valmiki sat down to write what he thought would be his greatest epic ever. And as he wrote and he completed his work, he offered it up to gods, saints, sages, angels, anyone who would care to listen. And everyone who read that story, read that manuscript, said that this is the greatest epic ever. What you've done will be remembered as the greatest epic ever. Everyone said that. Everyone except one. You know who that one was? Narayan. Valmiki. Of Narad Muni. He said, do not be disappointed. What you've written is truly great. But before it can be called as great, you have to win the approval of Hanuman. He resides in the Himalaya. Go find him, show it to him, and if he thinks that this is the greatest epic ever, then indeed it will become the greatest epic ever. Now Valmiki set out in search of Hanuman. He went through forests, he swam across lakes, he trudged through swamps, he went up mountains, he came down valleys. Finally, he came to the Himalayas. And as he looked around, he came to a garden. And when he came to that garden, he realized that this garden unmistakably belonged to Hanuman. How did he know that? Because in that garden, on every rock, on every stone, on every tree, on every twig, on every branch, on every leaf, on every root, on every shoot, Hanuman had written a portion of Ramayana. And Valmiki plucked one leaf, and as he read it, his hands began to tremble. He began to sweat. He began to cry. Because what was written on that one leaf was much better than he had written in an entire manuscript. And as he wept inconsolably, he felt an arm upon his shoulder. It was Hanuman. And Hanuman said that, "O great sage, why do you cry in my heavenly abode?" It desecrates the place. Tell me what is the problem. I will help you get rid of it. With trembling hands, Valmiki offered his work, and he said that I thought I have written the greatest epic ever, but what you've written on this one leaf, it makes my work pale in comparison. How will the world know me as the author of the greatest epic ever? Now, Hanuman, being Hanuman, said, that's your problem? Here, let me help you solve it. So he sat Valmiki on his shoulders, and then he did what he did best. He grew in size, and he kept on growing until that garden was the size of a ball. Whereupon he bent down, picked up the garden, balanced it on his hands, and threw it into the ocean. And whereupon he regained his normal size and told the sage that, there, your epic is now the greatest epic ever. That is the story of how Valmiki was reborn as Tulsidas, and he wrote the Ramcharitramanas, which ultimately came to be known as the greatest epic ever. But the point is, the point of me telling you this story is that every one of you carries a Valmiki and a Hanuman inside of you. And today you took the first step. Those of you who participated, you took your first step towards becoming that. Many years ago, I started out on my journey of Toastmasters. And I will be conceited enough to say that I gained a lot. I have achieved a lot. But then that is my story. I want you all to write your own stories. Maybe you will achieve a lot. Maybe you will be like Hanuman, will perhaps write an epic better than the greatest epics, and then decide that maybe somebody else deserves recognition. Or you could be Valmiki, writing your own, what you think is going to be the greatest epic ever. But the point is, at the end of the day, you will end up with the greatest epic ever. So join Toastmasters. It will change your life. And that is a Toastmasters word. Who knows, tomorrow you might be the world champion of public speaking. Who knows, tomorrow you might go to the United Nations and tell them a story so touching that they will sit up and take notice, and they will sit up and effect a change. My very good friend Harsh Goela says that soldiers on borders, they defend lives, and doctors in operating theaters, they save lives. But as a Toastmaster, you have the chance to change lives. So be ready to change a life. And even if you don't do that, who knows, you might end up writing your greatest epic ever. Nimit.
Thank you. Thank you very much, DTM Rupinder Singh. And yes, we all are here and we have indeed witnessed some great stories together today. And I believe that many of you would go on to keep reciting your stories and coming up with more and more stories to change the world. So with that, a quick check with Anand.
Yes, Nimit, I have forwarded you the results to keep the certificates ready. Meanwhile, since Venkata Ramana Dittakavi, the immediate past district director of D98, has to leave, I would like to have his words of wisdom as well. How did he like the event? And if he has any message for us. Venkata, I have prompted you to unmute.
Thank you, Anant and team. First of all, congratulations for organizing this wonderful event.
I thoroughly enjoyed almost 2 hours of speeches. What all DTM Mukta and DTM Rupinder mentioned, I echo those words. I would like to mention all the contestants are not Toastmasters. I don't know whether they need Toastmasters or not, but we Toastmasters need you. I encourage you to be part of these Toastmasters. And let us all together improve ourselves. With your presence, with your stories, definitely it will motivating and inspiring. We are ready to learn from each one of you in our Toastmaster journey in becoming a better person. So I only urge you all, please be a part of Toastmasters in whichever club, whichever city you want to, then let us continue our journey. Definitely it is a value addition to the Toastmasters in general. I'm looking forward to meeting you all in future meetings and events, and I will see you listening to your inspiring and really motivating speeches. All of you did a fantastic job, but as judges, we have to choose a few. We have chosen, we have already given. All of you are winners. Well done, really well done. Each one of you did a fantastic job. Thank you very much for this opportunity to Anant and the entire organizing team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Venkata, for sharing your, as ever, as is your trademark, the words of encouragement. Nimit, let us have quickly the participation certificates roll out, and then acknowledgement of the team, and then announcement of the results.
Thank you, Anand. So, a quick check if my screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I take this opportunity on the behalf of Turning Point Toastmasters for all the participants who have gathered that courage to share your story with the world. So for this event, What's Your Story speech contest, I congratulate all the participants who have taken part. So starting with Bhupesh Sharma. So can we have a huge round of applause for all the participants, please? Yes, Bhupesh Sharma, Samriddhi Bansal, Shanu Goyal, Divya K, Aveen Kaur, Fatima Khadar, Vinay Mantri, Rajesh Pagal, Preet R, Arinjay Raj, Prerna Rao, Diksha Sachin, and Shruti Shetty. Yes, it's really heartening to see that you all have taken this opportunity to share your story with the world. And we all have really enjoyed this thorough journey of last 2 hours where we just got lost in your very stories. I would also now like to take this opportunity to recognize the effort of people who have been behind this successful event, right? So I take this opportunity. Yeah. So I take this opportunity to thank you all for working tirelessly, not for the last 1 week, but even before that, right from the inception till the execution and to the conclusion. So thank you very much, starting from Anant Katyayani, Nimit, Anshuman Mishra, Sonali Kathuria, Shivam Prakash, Pawan Kaushik, Soumya Agarwal, Urfia Abdul, our contest chair, Ragini Rajpal, our ballot counter, Dikshant Malhotra, ballot counter, Sumit Bansal, our timer of the day, Nasir Khan, Vice President Membership, and Abhishek Sharma for their constant efforts and contribution towards the success of this event. Can we have a huge round of applause for all of these people? Yes, and now, without much ado, I would just like to come up with the results, but would like to take a couple of minutes to just generate that drama before I display the results on the screen and announce them.
So, Nimit,
So,
so
yes?
Nimit, you will display the results and it will be the contest chair who will announce
Yes.
if there are any disqualification on the base of time. And then she will announce the results in the order of third place, second place, and the first place. So let's spotlight Urfia and you assist with the sharing of the screen.
Yeah, but just give me a minute or so while I prepare it.
Sure. So meanwhile, you take your time. I would like to invite DTM Padma Kumar, a storyteller amidst us, also one of the judges, to share his words of wisdom. Meanwhile, you prepare the certificates. And please spotlight Padma sir as well. Padma sir, we would love to hear from you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So maybe you gave me a little time because I was spellbound after listening to the story. So now I'm able to catch my breath and probably share with you certain thoughts. Now, I'm always a person who appreciates what happens in the past, but always looks forward to what can happen in the future. In other words, we are only a product of the past, but we are the master of what we are going to do to ourselves. So from that perspective, I just want to share a couple of words. But before that, let me say meticulous planning and execution of the contest. So kudos to Anant and all the team members who really made this happen. Wonderful. Now coming to the participants, several times I've noticed that talent surfaces. If we have some innate talent, it surfaces. And particularly in the first instance, when it manifests itself so beautifully, we get appreciation all around. That appreciation is something that we should savor, we should consume. However, that should not limit our planning for what we can do with the talent. As we know, 90% is perspiration, 10% is the inspiration. So to that extent, if we want your second, 8th, and 50th stories to be equally or even more powerful than the stories that you told today, this is just an indication that now is the time for you to start preparing yourself to become such great deliverers of stories. We heard about Aishwarya Rai from Mangalore. We know a lot of film personalities who had a first hit, and many others who did not then take the efforts ended up as a one-trick pony. We know of several people who had one brilliant start and after that fell by the wayside because they got very caught up in whatever they had achieved and they did not put the effort beyond that. To my mind, those people who have the talent, show the potential, have a possibility to make sure that they make that talent flower with association with the right kinds of people and getting all the right kind of guidance. So my wish to all the participants, contestants here today is that may this be the beginning of a wonderful journey for you in storytelling. You are all with innate talent in storytelling, as I can see. Some were very candid stories, extremely touching stories. And I would wish that you grow in stature with more stories that you tell. And for that, do put in the required efforts and make yourself worthy of all the praise that you will get in the years to come. Wish you all the very best. Thank you. And back to you, Anand.
Thank you so much, DTM Padma Kumar. Folks, he is also an author of a bestseller, Stories or Your Message. Some of us have learned by seeing him in action, and his message is very, very relevant. We are going to announce results now after Nimit's confirmation, but please bear this in mind. This is by no means a judgment on the talent that you have and the skills that you possess. It is just a token of appreciation and acknowledgement that yes, some of you have performed touch the heart of especially these 5 people, not all, these 5 people, the judges, more than your competitors. That's it. In our eyes, in my eyes, all 13 of you, including that person who prepared but could not appear today because of an extreme personal emergency, all 13 of you are winners because you have put what it takes to be a public speaker in this last 1 week. But as Padma sir said, don't let this be the end page of your book. This is just the first page. The entire chapter, entire book is yet to be scripted. With those thoughts, I hand it over to Urfia. Nimit, please put Urfia on the stage, on the spotlight, and let us know if you are ready with the certificates as well.
Yes, I'm ready. I am putting Urfia on the spotlight.
Urfia, let's begin with the information that I shared with you about disqualification first.
All right. So there was one disqualification on time. And moving on to the results now. Starting with the third place, we have Fatima Khadar. A huge round of applause.
All applause
for Fatima.
for Fatima.
Shall we move on to second place? All right. So our second place holder is Vinay. Congratulations, Vinay.
Thank you.
And our first place holder for today's event is Avreen Kaur.
Congratulations, everyone.
All 3 placeholders.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Over to you, Toastmaster Anand.
Thank you. Thank you, Urfia. I take this opportunity now to congratulate once again Toastmaster Fatima, Toastmaster guest Fatima, Vinay, as well as Avreen. And I hope everyone to see being more frequent in our meetings, perhaps very, very soon as a member yourself, because the beginning, if the beginning was such impactful, let us just wonder where the conclusion of this journey may be. And as Padma or Venkata or Mukta or anyone, including Ragini, will tell you, we never truly reach a conclusion of a journey. It's always a milestone that we turn. I myself started this journey of public speaking 9 years back to just be more comfortable in my skin around those people from CBSE at my workplace in Infosys Bangalore for the first time, because I came from a small village from Hindi medium throughout my schooling. And since then, the goalposts kept shifting. Not all of you are at equal point at your age, your profession, your current skill sets, or the skill sets that you desire in public speaking and leadership. So make your own goals. As I told most of you in the briefing as well as before that, your competition was not against each other today. It was against yourself. And on that note, all of you have surpassed your previous self. Whether it's Vinay, whether it's Preet, whether it's Divya, all 13 of you, you have really, really, really made every one of us proud. And we will share this recording, upload it on our social media, on our Facebook page. We did not do a live streaming for some technical reasons. We will upload it very soon. Please feel free, be proud to share it with your family, friends, and not to forget, take feedback from your mentors. Even if they could not see it live today, take evaluation, take feedback from your mentors and make this a productive experience. Prepare some more speeches. You will get credit for your first speech when you become a member at Turning Point very, very soon. You will get a credit for this speech the day you join directly. So you can directly start from preparing your second project speech onwards. Nimit, I now invite you to have a quick vote of thanks. I am super proud as the chief judge of this contest. Can't thank you enough for being spectacular tech master that you performed today. So a brilliant tech master and my club president and the sergeant at arms of this event, Toastmaster Nimit Mittal, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Chief Judge, for today, and otherwise a great friend and a mentor. Thank you, Anant. And yes, we are now close close to adjourn today's contest, but I cannot thank more the dignitaries present and all the role players who have put in a tireless effort. Before that, before thanking them, I must just would like to highlight and add on to what Anand said. Can we just take this moment, all 13 of us, rather, in fact, everyone, to pat ourselves? We must have pat others, right? Or others might have pat us, but how many times we pat ourselves? Okay, Nimit, I did a great job today. Whatever be the result, yes, I came out of the comfort zone and I delivered a speech in front of public, which was my fear earlier, and now it has gone to the public across entire country, right? So yes, I hope that today's day will give you that hope to go on further in your journey of public speaking and fighting your fears. With that, first of all, I would like to thank the chief judges for today. So they are none other than DTM, Mukta Natkar. Can we have a huge round of applause? DTM, Padmanabhan. DTM, Animesh Mohapatra. KSS Rohit. Siddharth Suman. And Venkata Ramana. Congratulations and thank you very much for being part of this contest and judging our participants. And now is the moment I also recognize the efforts of all the mentors who have been helping you through last 1 week in terms of preparation and how to deliver it. Yes, we all know them, but then it is a point from my side. So they were not just mentors for 1 week. How about making them a buddy, your friend for the rest of their lives, right? So we would offer that friendship, that mentoring going forward as well. Let's not stop our relation right here. So it is not the end, it is just the beginning. With that, I would also like to thank you, contest chair Urfia Abdul, for being a fantastic contest chair for today and taking the things so seamlessly. And our area director, Ragini Rajpal, who in the capacity of the ballot counter, along with the Toastmaster Dikshant Malhotra, did a commendable job and assisted chief judges. Thank you very much. And a special mention to a timer, Toastmaster Sumit Bansal, who also happens to be the Vice President Education of our Turning Point Toastmasters Club, for timing you all very precisely. So thank you, Toastmaster Sumit Bansal. And I hope I'm not missing anyone, but then also DTM Rupinder Singh, who also in his capacity has helped and mentored each and every one of us in the overall success of this event. I also would like to thank the VP membership, Nasir Khan, and VP PR, Anshuman Mishra, for their constant efforts in order to make this event a great success. So with that, I will just say that this journey has just begun today. It was just the first step, just an insight in about what we can really do, what we can really achieve in our lives. We had the skepticisms in our side, which have been now thrown away into the dustbin, and now is the time to rise. So with that, thank you very much. And DTM Anand, do we have anything else?
Before closing, since we are 5 minutes ahead of schedule, we have 5 minutes as of now available with us. How about taking a quick feedback from the audience members, non-participants, and why not, maybe if possible, a couple of participants. So Nimit, I hand it over to you again. 5 minutes we have. You can stop the recording meanwhile if you want.
Sure.
We have, I think, one of the judges